So we are going to take you to the two distilleries that John Teeling had purchased. We're going to the Cooley Distillery. That was the first distillery to operate, the first new distillery to operate in Ireland in 100 years. He broke the Irish distillers' monopoly on distilling whiskey in Ireland. So this is on the Cooley Peninsula. It was an industrial, state-run potato alcohol plant. And he had to purchase some pot stills so he could produce whiskey and various other pieces of equipment. But he was able to get it up and running and producing award-winning whiskey within, those years that it took to mature that whiskey. Now, his biggest problem was warehousing, because with industrial alcohol plants, you tank things out. So he was short of space for storage of his casks. So what he did was he shipped a lot of his casks over to the Kilbeggan distillery, which he had purchased. And, of course, there's the Kilbeggan distillery. Now, the Kilbeggan distillery is one of the oldest distilleries in the world. And it operated up into the 50s, where it got in trouble like a lot of the distilleries. It basically was a large enough distillery, it had a lot of warehousing, so he was able to purchase it. The interesting thing is, the people of Kilbeggan kept that distillery license alive all those years. So eventually, he was able to distill whiskey there. So again, he sold out to Beam, which became Beam Suntory. But we now have the Kilbeggan distillery up and running and producing whiskey as well. Now, John Teeling revived the Tyrconnell name, famous whiskey name from the turn of the century, Connemara. And of course, Locke's whiskey, which was originally, that's before Kilbeggan, was the name of the distillery. Prior to that, it was called the Brusna Distillery. And of course, Kilbeggan whiskey. So all of these whiskeys are up and running here today. And we're going to focus on Tyrconnell. I'm going to wander away from our traditional Irish to this brand here, Tyrconnell. Now, Tyrconnell was huge at the turn of the century. Tyrconnell was Alexander Watt. It was a big distillery, his distillery, and this was not the distillery name. The Alexander Watt Distillery was producing this brand as a result of a horse race. Now, he had this horse, Tyrconnell, that was entered into an Irish stakes race, big race, and it was thought to be too short, not have a good enough stride to be able to compete. So there was 101 odds against it winning this race. So it pulled off the impossible, and it became legendary. So Alexander Watts produced a whiskey in memory of it, and it was supposed to be a limited edition, but it was so popular and it took off so well. And this stuff was in North America, it was all over the world at the turn of the century. So he kept this going right up until their demise, when they got in trouble during Prohibition. They went from one of the largest distilleries in the world to basically shutting down. And that Tyrconnell name was purchased by a gentleman by the name of John Teeling. That'll be another story we'll get into. He purchased that name and he got it up and running, and he actually was producing this whiskey at his own distillery, the Cooley Distillery. And the story on the Cooley Distillery: John Teeling, a well-known business person, well-educated, Harvard graduate, was a guy that was involved in all sorts of different businesses, everything from the mineral investments, etc. But he also did a study paper on the decline of Irish whiskey. And what he did basically is he broke the monopoly and control of whiskey going out of Ireland by opening up the Cooley Distillery, and it was quite a challenge for him to do it. He took an old distillery on the Cooley Peninsula that was it was a government-run industrial distillery for industrial alcohol, from potatoes, mostly column stills. And he put some pot stills in there, called it Cooley Distillery, and he produced various whiskeys, including this one here, where he started off with that Tyrconnell name. And he won a lot of awards for his whiskeys, became quite famous, not just in Ireland, but throughout the world, because of his whiskeys that were winning awards. Well, welcome to Noel's World of Whiskey. And we're getting near the end of our cruise through Ireland. We've already done the Tyrconnell Madeira 15, and now we're going to do a Tyrconnell 16. And this, I believe, is Oloroso, Sherry and Moscatel. And this is going to be exciting, this one here. And as usual, I'm doing a review after a good workout up in the mountains there. Big storm up there. I was trying to get back as fast as possible, and it was pretty heavy snow. I was out in the cross country, so it was a bit of a workout. Anyways, good to be in here, down here where there is no snow so far. And nice and warm. Got ourselves a bottle of scotch to work on. So, let's give it a pour. And let's go after the nose. Now, Tyrconnell, I got turned on to it by a friend. He was actually a buddy from the mountain there. He was over in Ireland. He brought it back from Ireland. And it wasn't the 16, and it was not the 15. It was the regular Tyrconnell. But I'd never drank Tyrconnell before. And he said, "You're going to like this stuff." And I did. So that bottle I finished, got another one. It's down in Victoria right now with my sister. And I've got this, the 16. I've got the Madeira. And as you can see, it's been worked over pretty good. Okay, the nose. So the nose is almost a sherry bomb. Boy, I'm full of energy here. I thought I'd be tired when I got down here, driving through a storm. Sweet, very sweet. It's going to be a fruity, sweet affair, I'd say. Juicy, apples, tropical nuances of like maybe mango, papaya. Oh God, let's get into the vineyard here. We've got, like I'm in the Okanagan here, boy, vineyards. Really fruity. You got the sultanas. Yeah, we're even getting a little bit of citrus stuff. Yeah, sweetness, orange marmalade, guava. Here comes the chocolate. Chocolate and almonds. Almond chocolate. There's a wee bit of oak, just like in the Madeira. There's a wee bit of oak in the background here, but it's not overpowering. I mean, it is a 16. And always vanilla. This isn't the first time I've put my nose into this, and there's always vanilla. I don't know if that's the original bourbon casks, but it's there. A little bit of coconut. Don't usually get into that, but that's what it's offering me. And some malty cereal notes there. It's funny, I don't find it complex, but there's quite a few layers, so not being overly complex might be good, because this is good. Yeah, we'll pull it away for a minute here. There's mostly sweet, fruity notes that are going on here. I was going to say something, it just went right past me there. So, anyways, and it was something to do with the notes. And let's move on to the palate. Sláinte. Wow. all I'm going to say is this could be one of my favorites. Whiskey Jason talks, he reviewed this. He really liked this. I don't know if Ralphie did, though, if he actually got into the 16. But there's been quite a few reviews. They've been very favorable. Honey. Honey, a little bit of that orange marmalade. And where I was getting the bright fruits, the dark fruits now, but mixed in with, again, mangoes, nectarines, some tropical fruit. You know, get a little bit of the, cereal stuff. And it's more like the muesli cereals, the muesli cereal that you have the mix of grains and dried fruit, sultanas, and maybe cranberries. But here comes the coconut. So I don't usually get coconut, but I'm getting it here. Sweet coconut and chocolate. More of the creamy, maybe even white chocolate. Yeah, I think the Madeira was more the dark chocolate, but this is the white chocolate. But I would say the finish is slowly disappearing. So I'm just going to top this up, and well, I had something I thought was important, and it just flew right by me there. So I guess we've missed it. Whatever the heck it was. Just some stuff on Tyrconnell there that. I'll tell you exactly what it was. The mystery to me is how John Teeling, who brought this back to life, and you know when I did the Madeira, I think I gave you the whole story behind Tyrconnell, the horse, and John Teeling bringing this brand back to international fame, and that because at one time at the turn of the century, this was an incredibly popular. This name was an incredibly popular brand. At the turn of the century, but and that was Alexander Watt in his distillery. But anyways, he fell upon tough times. But John Teeling, when he opened up the Cooley distillery, and then he also bought the old Lock distillery, which was Kilbeggan, and that was mostly for warehousing. But then I think around. And he did that right in 88 or something, 87 or whatever. But then he eventually got that up and running. I think 2007 got it up and running and distilling. But this was one of his distillates. This and there was Connemara. He did Lock the Lock whiskeys, Kilbeggan whiskeys. Oh my golly, they just, I can't think of them all right at the moment, but Connemara, of course, is the first peated whiskey in Ireland. But anyways, what my question is where the heck is he getting these really good casks from? Like, this has got a very good cask finish, and so does the Madeira. And even I'll call it the junior version of this, which I had prior, the regular Tyrconnell. I mean, it's just a really nice whiskey, and you can tell it's good cask finishing. It's a mystery. Like, here's a guy who opens up first time in 100 years that a new Irish distillery was opened. He broke the monopoly from Irish distillers, and somehow he pulls off a 15 and a 16. I think there's another, might even be a 2021 or whatever. The aging is one thing, but it's where's he getting the cask from, very interesting. But anyways, I'm just curious. I'd like to ask him personally, like, where are you getting these casks from? Because they're excellent casks. So we're going to go after the finish, to the finish. Now I'm getting a wee bit of coffee, roasted roasted coffee with maybe something between a latte and a coffee, but because there's cream in it. Bounces back and forth with vanilla. Yeah, more of a latte, a vanilla latte. And a medium finish. That's what it's got, is a medium finish. It's really a nice coating on the tongue. Kind of a velvet texture to this. Well, we're gonna have to add some water here and see what happens with a few drops of water in it. See how it opens up. And trying to get in the habit. It's a 46 ABV. Might have given it a little bit more than I normally do there, but it is a 46, and it's got a lot of body to it. It's got very thick legs, so I think it can handle it. And you like my cute little distilled water containers here. Anyways, let's give it the nose. An interesting thing, you know, a couple of master blenders, they mention how when you add a few drops, a small portion of water, that it'll sink to the bottom. Well, that's exactly what happens, because the water is heavier, and that's why we do the swirl, eh? But it always seems to open it up. So see, now I'm getting a wee bit of I'm getting floral stuff now. You know, I'm still getting the tropical notes, and I am getting some cinnamon. I was saying I wasn't getting any spices, but I am getting cinnamon. Not a sign of smoke or peat or anything like that. And you know, none of the funk stuff like tobacco or the rubbery smoky notes. So it's a very it's a dessert. Bit of I'd say you know, cinnamon toast. Cinnamon raisin toast. Anyways, the palate. It just amplifies the sweetness. I put a little more water, and I can tell, because I noticed that it it brought down the ABV, but that's okay. I could add a little more whiskey to it. It's it basically it sort of, if you put too much water in, I think it kind of, you get the sweet notes, but you lose a lot too. So we have to watch that, you know. What the heck? Let's throw a little more whiskey in it. We'll just see what happens there. There we are. That should do it. Anyways, I'm usually pretty good with that, with the metal straw there, but anyways. That's better. So a little bit of the spice I wasn't getting before. I was nosing it, but I wasn't getting it on the palate, so I'm getting it now. A little bit of the cinnamon. And I'm getting some, I'm getting the orange, or maybe a bit of tangerine. Tangerine candies. Even dried tangerine fruit. A bit of dried tropical fruits. And white chocolate's disappeared, but I'm getting more the I'm getting I'd say the latte. I'm getting the latte. Um, getting a vanilla latte. And again, the butter on cinnamon toast. It's a great drink. Anyways, I'm kind of really amazed at how John Teeling can find the casks, such good casks for this. I don't know where they come from. But anyways, let's give this thing a score. I'm going to say 86, 87, somewhere in that area. And yeah, let's give it an 87. I think Madeira had 86. It's close, 86.5. It's a good whiskey. It's definitely worth. It's worth you trying a Tyrconnell. I'm going to ask you to drink wisely, drink intelligently, do not drink and drive. And until the next time, Sláinte.